Welcome to Five Lemons Laughing. We are so glad that you're here. Today, all of our Lemonettes are here. We got Penny, I'm Amanda, Drusilla, Melissa, and Morgan. Hey, and before we jump in, let me ask you this. Have you ever been with someone, partner, a friend, parent, or even a complete stranger that is just tweaking you a little bit and something shifted? Like suddenly the air between you got a little bit softer. The drama, the backstory, all of it fell away. And all that was left was just presence, peace. Maybe it only lasted for just a heartbeat, and maybe it changed everything. That is a holy instant. That is the beginning of a holy relationship, whether you realize it in the moment or not.
Yeah. Thanks, Amanda. I actually thought about this episode and I wanted to talk about it because I think it's just a key question in A Course in Miracles. I've been in a lot of Course in Miracles groups and had a lot of discussion, and it comes up over and over. Like, what does that mean? And I just thought that today we could dive into a conversation that all of us, even if you're not studying A Course in Miracles, you still have experienced this. And we're not talking relationships like marriage only. We're talking, you can be single, you can be healing, could be a stranger, and you can still have a connection. I think we've probably all experienced it, even if it was fleeting. And did you know that in A Course in Miracles, it says that any relationship can be a holy relationship. And we know that holy relationships aren't about the ego or our history or our labels, but it's about being present with someone else. And I think we have that. It's kind of magical. We have that here when we come to record. We show up, and I think it's a good example of a holy relationship. But the best way I can explain what I have experienced is that it doesn't always look like what you expect it to look like, but it feels peaceful. And so let's talk about what you guys think is a holy relationship, what you've learned about that, and have you experienced it in your life?
Big juicy topic.
Yeah, it is. Thank you, Melissa. Thank you.
So you're welcome. And let's kind of talk about, I know you all have been in Course in Miracles groups. Like when it comes up and people are like, I love my husband, but it's not a holy relationship. I got a Starbucks the other day and I really felt like I had a holy relationship with the Starbucks barista. So like, what is it? And what is the difference one to the other? How would you explain it to someone who's just learning about A Course in Miracles?
I don't know, because sometimes I grapple with it even still. And there's a part in A Course in Miracles that says it only takes one person for the relationship to be holy, like one person who's willing. But then another part, like if you're like looking like, well, what does A Course in Miracles say about holy relationship? How do you define how do you define a holy relationship? It talks about when two people join with a common purpose. So then it's like, well, then it does take two people. So I still get confused about it personally, but I also know that I've had that holy instant and I've had experiences of being in a holy relationship, but it does feel ineffable at times and very difficult to explain what it is, what it feels like for me. Hopefully, Drusilla or Penny or Amanda have some way to put it into words for our listeners.
I'll without trying to define it, I'll explain what I experience and what I feel is a holy relationship for me and relationships that are not. Let me start with the easier one, which is the ones that are not. So for me, the relationships that aren't holy are considered special relationships. And they are relationships where they are dependent upon how you interact with each other. How you feel about them depends on what they may do or say or give. It has a this for that kind of undertone to it. Um, it's conditional, is the best way to describe it. Um, and of course, we all know, as Melissa mentioned earlier, this can be in a, a, a marital relationship or a relationship where you are an intimate relationship, I guess is the best way to describe it, married or not. Or it can be a stranger or a friendship even. And it's still all the same. It's based on conditions that yourself and or the other person has put around that relationship. Whereas the holy relationship that I feel like I have specifically have grown to appreciate is the one with my mother. And in that relationship, I can say that I see her her personality, but nothing about her personality can penetrate what my heart feels when I'm in her presence and when I communicate with her. And I've seen that grow um, since she's been dealing with some medical issues and getting older. And so she's not as, let's see, not as thoughtful. She can be irritated by losing control or the feeling of losing her memory and things like that. And I'm not tested by that. And that's a way that I'm able to measure the holiness of it. Nothing changes in my heart. Nothing changes in my energy, no matter what happens in the interaction I have with my mother. And to the point that Morgan brought up about the course saying that it only takes one, and I do remember being so happy to read that because I thought, oh, I can really save this relationship. All my relationships, I can save them and make them holy. And I think what I took from it to mean is that it only takes one to surrender that relationship to invite the Holy Spirit in, to begin to work on shifting from a special to a holy relationship. And I have experienced that within my marriage, that I've gone from a total conditional relationship to one that I can say is shifting to be unconditional from my perspective. And everything that I experience is my perspective. It doesn't matter I will never know what the other person is experiencing. So I don't even try to understand that part of the equation, because in essence, I'm one with my brother. And if that is it, if I feel it holy, then it is holy, is kind of how I look at that aspect of it.
That's really beautiful, Drusilla, how you explain the relationship with your mother and how it's transformed. Yeah.
Well, I think you all have been a part of that journey. It's just been since I've been in the ministry that I really knew that there were some underlying beliefs from my childhood that I was carrying. And I had some one-on-one sessions with some counselors and really was able to release everything. And also I had the conversation with my mother about what I was feeling about certain things, not to judge or attack, but just so that I could release it and allow her to do the same. And ever since that one day in that conversation, it's been just a holy encounter, holy blessing is how I describe it.
What I'm hearing you say is that it takes a lot of courage and vulnerability to actually have those deeper conversations. And
Mhm.
wow, it's really cool that your mom was open to having that with you too. I mean,
Mhm.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, that's beautiful.
And Drusilla, what I liked about it was it's like doing the contrast, like a special relationship, which is the opposite of a holy relationship, has conditions.
Mhm.
And if I really think about like where am I, like conditions to me is like giving to get as well. Like so the any person in my life, like am I only their friend because they give me something or do something or act a certain way? And if they stop living up to whatever my expectation is, then we won't be friends. And that's a special relationship.
Mhm.
And taking a moment to take inventory of that is it can be telling.
Mhm.
Mhm.
It really can be telling. And
Yeah.
and that just shifts it on a whole different level. So like you use the example of a barista. Like so you walk into your favorite coffee shop and um the person behind the counter maybe writes down, doesn't hear you correctly. Like you want non-fat and they give you whole fat. Are you gonna go right into like, that's dumbass, got my coffee wrong, right? Or like, or do you still like that, like love that person or see through that person and go, yep, that person got it wrong, but that's okay, right? They could just make another one. That's it's just so interesting now that I'm sitting here thinking about all the people that I interact with and what expectations I have of them, giving to get. Hmm. Hmm. Ponder
Interesting.
that, people.
Yeah. And it can be sometimes really tricky because some of the less obvious things that we all have experienced, but we don't consider them as being a part of the specialness of it, is when people that normally uplift us and agree with us, suddenly they could disagree with us on one thing and we have to clench our pearls or something, like, and it shifts the whole relationship, right? And yeah, and that's and I can truly only know this because I have the example of my mother. And before that, I probably would say, oh, surely my relationship with my best friend is holy. But I can then now look at it and say, no, I totally shift sometimes when she doesn't agree with me.
Mhm.
And I hold it in a different light. And and it just means that there's just more things to let go, not that it's bad or it's a bad relationship. It just means that I need to um, understand. And if my goal is to have all holy relationships, is to release that she needs to see me in a certain way, or that I need to see her in a certain way. It's just another opportunity to grow in forgiveness.
And it seems like some relationships feel easier to have a holy relationship with. Like I clients, it's easier for me to enter a holy relationship with my clients. And it's easier for me to be in a holy relationship with you all somehow. And like my little abundance and gratitude group that meets, I don't know, it feels easier with certain people for some reason. And then like the people that are closest to me, my husband, for example, I feel like we have probably more frequent instances of a holy instant, but we also have more frequent instances of getting pulled out of that because we've been just because of, time, which is an illusion, but still. just because of proximity and like, I guess, getting to practice more often. So it's easy to look at it and think like, oh, maybe that relationship isn't a holy relationship because we don't get it right all the time, but we probably do get it right more of the time than we don't. But just because we're spending so much time together that, that negativity bias, we're more amplified on the things that feel uncomfortable, that shake our peace or seem to take our peace away. Yeah.
I think we need to hit the pause button and really, even though not look up the definition of a holy relationship, but I can just hear our readers, not our readers, our subscribers going, what is a holy relationship? I think we need to like really try to define that at this moment, or what it means to us. And since I'm throwing this out there, of course, I'll start, right? So to me, and Drusilla, thank you for, having the big discussion, because it helped me become a little bit more clear in this moment of what a holy relationship means to me. Because so right now, it means being able to see the people that I interact with as connected, as source energy, like to look past their personalities, look past even, what they're saying or what they're doing, and really dive into, I like the words, their 0 point or the 0 point. So to me, that is a holy relationship, with every person that I meet, is looking at them as God created them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So that
sounds like acceptance.
Yes.
You stole Melissa's word, Penny. Not
I
fair.
did. Sorry. She's got it so ingrained in me now that I just think acceptance.
Yeah, I was going to say something along those lines and exactly, Amanda, what you were saying is like a relationship where there's no change needed. It is how it is. They are who they are. They do what they do, and you honor that. And it also reminds me of like the namaste, like living namaste. Like, I honor the divine in you without wanting to change you, without making you right or wrong, all the stuff our ego does. But like living namaste.
Melissa, that's amazing. I forgot all about the namaste. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I have a quick question. Can you have a holy relationship with yourself?
Before we answer that, Penny, because that's a good one, I do want to hear Drusilla and Morgan's definition of a holy relationship. And then we'll go right into that, because that's juicy. We have to put Morgan and Drusilla on the spot. But
yeah, that's okay.
You are on.
Well, I mean, I think I love getting all of these different definitions, because they're not actually different. They're just different ways of saying the same thing. And I think that's helpful. It's helpful for me. It's probably helpful for our listeners. Like, it's helpful to hear things said a bunch of different ways. I think another way to say it is you're in a holy relationship when you are holding on to the truth that there is no other. The person is not separate from you. And so when you're holding that awareness, even if it's, you're holding that awareness of the truth, even as you're witnessing what appears to be happening in the world of form. You're witnessing the drama, you're witnessing the personality, you're witnessing the body doing these things, whatever they may be, the good and the bad, the duality. But there's another part of you that is aware of the truth and the divinity of the person, the fact that that person is one with God, the fact that that person is one with you, and that this is a projection of your mind, and they're here to help you heal and here to help you awaken and here to help you learn your forgiveness lessons. Like, it's kind of like having a soft awareness of all of those truths while you're seeing whatever drama is unfolding in front of you. I don't know if that makes sense.
It does.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. I like all of what you all have said. And it's, I don't think I could maybe add anything. I guess a different perspective or a way to describe it for me would be a relationship made of agape love. And it can be with a pet, it could be with any living thing, a plant. And it's an expression of wholeness and truth in the universe shared between two living things, is how I would describe.
Drusilla, would you define agape love?
It's just another word for unconditional, eternal love. And I think the reason I brought it down some notches is because I think there are people in the world that have holy relationships that are not on spiritual journeys.
Yes.
So, and they may not be aware of what it is. We talk a lot about awareness because that's what we're here to do. And we're here to bring awareness and to represent awareness. But I do believe that there are people who are in truly holy relationships and they're not on a spiritual journey. They're not aware that that's what they're expressing. They're just living their life wholly in a holy way and expressing their true selves and authentic selves with another living creature.
Yeah, that just made me think of I've shared this with you all before. That made me think of that holy instant that you experience sometimes when you're at a concert and everybody is there for the same reason and feeling that sense. It's like you feel that sense of something greater than you. And it's ineffable and you don't know what you're feeling, but that well of emotions just comes up because it's so powerful. And I feel like that's it right there. That's a holy relationship. You're in a holy relationship with everyone who's present at the concert. You know what I mean? That's the feeling.
So it is a feeling. That's how as we opened up this whole episode, I think there's not necessarily a definition, but we've all probably felt something like that, especially as children, probably.
Yeah.
Well, I like that you brought up the child, because I would say it is a childlike love, right? Because you don't have the barriers there. You don't have so many barriers that make you want to close your heart chakra, right? Yeah.
And it really goes back. I think the starting point of it speaks directly to Penny's question about a holy relationship with yourself. So, Penny, what did you mean by that?
Well, I was just asking the question because I was starting to think about, doesn't it? I mean, it needs to begin with me, right?
Yeah.
And if I am not in a holy relationship with myself, how is it possible for me to be in a holy relationship with anybody else? And so I was just thinking, because on Sunday, my daughter was in a triathlon. She's getting ready for a Olympic triathlon. No, she did an Olympic triathlon on Sunday. And she's getting ready for, I don't know, a half Ironman. That's what she's getting ready for. So it's a pretty intense training program she's in. And she did this Olympic triathlon just to have a practice period. But she said it was so effortless. And she said she felt like she was out of her body. And she was just like, she did her swim. It was no big deal. She was in the ocean. She wasn't afraid of anything. And she got on her bike and it was easy and smooth. And she felt like she just, even though it was all going really easily, she wasn't there. But when we talked about it, we talked about how she was in the flow. And so I think sometimes a holy relationship is being in the flow with life. And there were I don't think she had any expectations. She just wanted to complete it. She wanted it to go easy and smooth. Maybe that was an expectation, but she said it was really surreal doing it because she felt like she was floating along and she was doing all these things. And so that just, as you guys were all talking, or you women were all talking, I just started to think about, wow. So I think she was in a holy relationship with herself on Sunday doing that Olympic triathlon. I don't know. I just thought I would, I don't know. So I just wanted to see what your guys' thoughts were about that.
Great story. Thank you, Penny.
Mhm.
I love it.
Can you restate the question though about can you be in a holy relationship with yourself? That's the question, right?
Mhm.
Yes. I think the answer is
Yeah.
heartedly yes. I don't have anything to expound on at this moment. So
I think it's a prerequisite to being in a holy relationship
Yeah.
with anybody else.
Yeah. That's what I was thinking too, just as I was pondering what you were all saying. Yeah.
Yeah. So then that means we have to see the divinity within ourselves.
Mhm.
Have to be unconditionally loving with ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
I'm so glad you said that, Penny, because I felt just for a moment a holy instant of that the only love there is self-love.
Mm.
And every time I experience a holy instant and I recognize that I am in a holy instant or a part of a holy relationship, it's because I'm allowing my wholeness to shine through. And I'm not putting up the barriers that I might put up in front of other people. And that's the only thing that prevents me from having a holy relationship with everyone I encounter.
Yeah.
Drusilla, what came to my mind when you were saying that is all judgment is self-judgment.
Mm-hmm.
So like all comparison, it's self-comparison. So Penny, that was a great question because it does go back to the relationship with self, right? If you don't have a really accepting, open relationship with self, all of that gets reflected out into the relationship with others.
Yes.
Yes. And I think that you can start wherever you are and do the work wherever it feels easier to do the work. So if it feels easier to work on holy relationships with others than it does to work on holy relationship with self, I think it's either way you get there. Like I don't think I agree that you have to have a holy relationship with yourself before you can have a holy relationship with others. I think one leads into the other. One paves the way for the other, and you can do it in any direction. You know?
Give an example, Morgan.
Well, I'm saying like, it might be easier for some people to see your holiness than it is to see their own. But in seeing your holiness, it's reflected back to me. And so that opens the door for me to see it in myself. For other people, it may go in the other direction. It might be easier for them to start with self-love and self-acceptance and seeing their own holiness and then allowing that to reflect out and then working on the external holy relationships. I'm just saying, I think it can go in either direction.
Agreed.
So then you think it's possible to experience love that's not from inside yourself?
I think all love is the love of God. So I think, no, I don't think, ask the question again.
So the way that you described it, and I could have misunderstood that. So that would have been the real question, was to have you explain it again. So were you explaining that the love that you could experience from someone else is not actually coming from inside of you? That it's not your own self-love being reflected back to you?
Well, since we're all one, it would be. I mean, this is getting into like the ineffable territory. Like it's,
I guess I just wanted to explain that was what I meant by prerequisite, not in a linear fashion, but that you can only experience love if it's being emanated from you in the beginning, is what I meant by a prerequisite to it being holy. Is, I just want to. And so, yeah, that's what I meant by prerequisite, not in a timeline kind of thing.
I think it does. Morgan and I have talked about this, so I know what you're trying to say, Morgan. It's not getting love back from outside yourself to show love to yourself. It's the love that you offer others first. You could offer, because that's what I had to do. I just had a really hard time accepting myself and loving myself. So for a couple of years, I know I've talked about this, I really tried to not judge, and then to bless others, and then to give more and to love more to others. And that created more love, me loving myself more because I did it that way. And it was almost like I could see the holiness in others. And just by doing that, I could allow myself to see myself as holy. Instead of it being something I was trying to get from other people. So that's how I've had to come at it.
Yeah.
And the best holy relationship I've had, like a holy instant that lasted for a while, that was a true, like, I remember sitting in it going, I never knew this could feel so amazing, was when I decided I was going to not try, but like, I didn't need someone else to have a holy relationship with me. I decided that I was going to love my husband no matter what, and have a loving response no matter what, and hold him in absolute love no matter what. And let's say he forgot to pick me up at the bus stop. But usually I'd be like, what? Where were you? Why would you not? Da, 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 And I changed it to being very compassionate and loving and understanding, and it not about me, but about the love I had and the understanding I had for him. And I've never had a relationship in my whole life. It was like a good 2 weeks, but it was like, yeah, 2 weeks. Could be 3, and then it could be 4, and then it could be 5. So, but I had that. I had the experience. It's like a flash of enlightenment, kind of like it was something I've never felt before. And it was nothing that he did. I did it all.
Yeah.
It had to come from inside of you, right, Melissa?
Yeah. When you were sharing, it makes me think that's what it is. The holiness is already there. It's already there in every one of us, because there is only one of us. So the act of revealing a holy instant or revealing a holy relationship is just that. You're just peeling back the layers to reveal what's already there. So it doesn't matter if you start with a relationship that appears to be external to you, or a relationship with the self. Like, you're just uncovering something that's been laying there all along within us.
And the Course in Miracles talks about blocks to love. There's blocks to love. It's all the judgment we have, and the wanting to change things about ourselves, about the world, about this is not good enough. I need to be good enough. I need to do X, Y, and Z. That person needs to do it. Those are all creating blocks to just allowing the love to be natural in and out. And I also think there's blocks to acceptance. We're just always creating these blocks to accepting ourselves, accepting others, which is accepting the love that we have that is there between us already, like Morgan was talking about. It's already pre-installed. And it's peeling back those blocks, like Morgan was saying, getting rid of those blocks that I think we put those things in place. Our ego does, and for fear and for whatever else. And that's what the Course in Miracles is always trying to point us back to, is that, like the Wizard of Oz, we've always had it.
Or Michelangelo, where he said David was already in the granite. He just chipped away everything that wasn't David. So you're chipping away everything that's not love.
Yes.
Yeah.
That is so beautiful, Penny.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's not something we're going to find. It's not something we're out there building and doing. It's us revealing it.
Mm-hmm.
So, but because we're humans and we like doing things, how do you do it? How do you reveal it? How do you reveal the David underneath the stone?
Morgan, sometimes it is easier for me to practice it on other people, like you were saying, instead of practicing on myself. It is easier to do that.
So what's an example of how you might practice it on someone else?
Like body image. Like, for a long time, I felt that I needed to weigh a certain amount, walk a certain way, wear certain clothes. Like, so body image was a big deal for me. And I started practicing it by seeing people in the world that didn't fit my personal narrative of what a body should be, and being able to like look past it and know their perfection. Like, no matter what the body was, practicing letting that go. So that was an example for me of how to start doing it. Did that complete the answer? That's how I started. Yeah.
So I had a question about the relationships. And I think Melissa even mentioned one a couple of episodes ago about meeting someone, a stranger, and feeling this holy connection with them.
Mm-hmm.
What do we think that is, and how do we describe it? It is, the course clearly states that it is a holy relationship, but how does that come about, and what's behind that? I've experienced it myself quite a few times, but I still can't, because I'm saying to myself, well, if I can experience that with a stranger, why can't I experience that with everyone, right? Because that is what I want. So any explanations to that?
Think we have
I think
less baggage.
it just goes back to no expectations, no, you're accepting them for what they're presenting to you. That's what I think. No baggage, like Morgan said. Yeah.
And I think there's a miracle. Sometimes there's just an angel that walks in your life, or like a beautiful miracle in a human form that touches you that day. I don't know if I have any kind of answer, except for it's just someone I was supposed to meet at that time for that feeling.
Maybe the universe is just saying, here's what it looks like. We're going to give it to you right now. You get to enjoy it. Yeah.
And Drusilla, you or Morgan asked like how you do it. For me, I work on, well, not all the time, but just a little more compassion towards someone, especially those that I love, and a little more what I've talked about here, like duct tape across my mouth about, oh, you should do it this way. Why didn't you do it this way? You should look like this. You should, that whatever that. Do you want to be loved or do you want to be right? Like just always having that opinion or something about someone else instead of just pure love, like you have with your mom. I mean, that's if I have that and I'm getting closer with my mom, I just keep my mouth shut. Like I just don't say, and I'm trying not to think things either. Like think she should be different, or she shouldn't say that, or that kind of thing. I'm kind of thinking out loud, but.
And as you're thinking out loud, Melissa, it reminded me that if I can see everyone as the true essence, maybe as their little kid, like a 5-year-old, that could be a way that I could slip into a holy relationship with them easier, because, when we're 4 or 5, we don't have all the blocks that we have built on ours at that time. So we're really at our true essence. And so that's one of the ways that I have used. Like when somebody irritates me, I just go, okay, let's think of them as a little kid, because they could be having a little kid response too. I mean, we slip into different ages at different times, depending on what's going on around us, right? So, yeah.
So I know we're coming to the end of our time. I'd like to end it kind of with what is the benefits of really cultivating, seeing holy relationships? Like, why would you even want that?
For more peace.
Yeah.
Love.
Freedom.
Freedom. Yeah.
And do you think, again, I can hear our listeners. Do you think if you were to let go of some of the conditions on the relationships, that people would start walking all over you? Yes, there's peace and all this, but if I, let go of conditions, then, I'm not going to have any relationships. I'm not going to, I'm going to be a doormat. I'm not going to be a doormat.
Well, I think that's a bigger topic. I think that would lend to a whole other episode.
Okay.
Summarize
we've
a
done
minute.
it.
Yeah.
We've done that episode.
I think it's about balance too, Amanda. It's it's like the serenity prayer. The wisdom to know the difference is like knowing when to stand up, when to sit down, knowing when to speak up, when to not. I think that just comes with being on our journey and being okay with who we are in the world, and we'll know what to do and say, because he who sent us will help us, right?
Well, and I just remembered that you can have a holy relationship with people who have transitioned. You can have a holy relationship with people who aren't even in your physical realm. They could be, a relationship that is no longer what it used to be, and you can still be in a holy relationship with them. So a holy relationship doesn't mean that the relationship won't change forms or will stay in exactly the same form that it is now. So,
yeah, good point, Morgan.
And Amanda, to your point, I think we all know. I think we might want to kid ourselves and say, "Oh, I won't know. I might be a doormat, so I don't need to make the effort. I'm going to still just always have these heavy boundaries and tell people what to do and how to stay away from me and that kind of thing." And I think but I do think we have felt like when there is, I have to take care of myself and this is a boundary, and you could have that boundary and still see the person that you're holding the boundary with as holy. I know that's so hard to grasp and understand, but it's possible, because I've known people who've done that and have talked about that and have shared that. And I think we all know we can be more accepting, more loving, and more compassionate, even if there are boundaries we have to have.
And I would venture to say, and I know this is a whole nother episode, is that boundaries are based on fear and we don't need them.
Yep. Whole nother episode.
Okay.
Let's do it. Let's write that down. Boundaries.
Yeah. Boundaries are not necessary.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love
Boundaries
that
don't
idea.
fear. They're based on
Boundaries may not
fear.
be necessary, but self-love is.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah.
Mhm.
And that is
Yeah,
a holy
all begins.
relationship, right?
Mhm.
Loving
Yeah.
yourself and loving everyone else.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so I think I'll just share the Post-its I wrote, and that is release expectations to shift to the holy relationship. And we really talked about acceptance is the key, right? Accepting everybody and everything about them. So we dove a little deep here. It was good. Ruffled a little feathers. Yeah, it's all good. So thank you for sharing this space with us today. We really appreciate everybody that tunes in. A holy relationship really isn't about fixing anybody. It's not about changing anybody. It's about truly seeing with love, choosing presence over judgment, and letting peace lead the way. And so let's look for those sacred moments. Like I think it was Drusilla or Melissa said, where the air softens, your heart softens, and you allow love to flow in and out. That's when the healing begins. That's when the holy relationship exists. And so until next time, remember your transformation is our greatest joy. And you may notice and nurture the holy instances and the holy relationships wherever you go. And so just be aware, just pay attention. You'll feel it in your body when it's happening. You really will feel it. So take care, everyone. And I'll see you in about 4 weeks. I'm going to go on vacation, and you'll be in great hands with the rest of the Lemonettes.
We're going to miss you.
Yeah. And Drusilla.
Yes.
Too. She's headed off as well. Go on.
Yeah. Have a beautiful rest of your week, everyone.
Bye.
Bye.